Hello, everyone, and welcome to Yes Go, a show designed to help entrepreneurs who entertain the two biggest questions they face every day. That's number one, can I do this? And number two, when should I start? The answers are yes, go. I'm your host, Coach A.M. Williams, and I am super excited to be with you today. And you know why? Because I have been saying all year that I believe that this is your year. This is the year where you get out of your head, step out and do something amazing and create phenomenal results. And I have committed to doing that by bringing you special trainings and special interviews to give you insights on what successful people just like you, who started out just like you, who are now doing it, who are now moving in it, to give you insights on their entrepreneurial journey, on how they practiced insane courage in the face of adversity, to give you insights, valuable, precious insights to move you from a place of procrastination, overthinking, into a place of massive action. And today's guest is no different. Friends, I have with me today Chad Bumgarner from Chad Bumgarner and Associates Consulting, and he is a leadership coach. He specializes in leadership development and training leaders and diversity training, building teams, building phenomenal teams, and turning ordinary leaders into phenomenal leaders. He's also a three-time author, and he is a speaker. And it is a privilege and a pleasure to have with me, with the Yes Go audience, Chad Bumgarner. Chad, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Coach A.M. Williams. I really appreciate this opportunity, man. I've been admiring you and your work for a mighty long time. I'm really excited that we got the opportunity to work together. I mean, you've really helped me, take my business and even my clients to the next level. It's a privilege to be on your show today. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, Chad, I'm telling you, man, one of the things that we thrive on here is putting quality people in front of our guests. We don't want flakes. We want people who are doing it and actually helping people to take their leadership, take their sales, take their life to another level. And you definitely fit that pedigree of coach. And I just wanted to, I'm very glad to have you here with us here on the show, man. I'm just excited. I'm just ready to delve into it. One of the things though, Chad, that separates this show from a lot of other shows that you see is that we try to bring the audience the human element in the dynamic of success. We try, how some people say, man, I was just like you. We try to give our audience an insight on how much that guest was just like they were, how much they were just like that. And we do that by giving people a chance to see who you are, the individual behind the success, and giving them insights on, what moved you from A to where you are today, and helping you to accomplish what it is that you do. So if you don't mind, just take a moment and introduce yourself to our listening audience to give them an insight on who you are as an individual in your own special way.
Okay. All right. Well, again, my name is Chad Bumgarner. I've been happily married for 19 years to my beautiful wife, Rosemarie. We have 3 awesome daughters, Kari, Courtney, and Cameron. But as far as me and my consulting firm, real quick, AM, it came from my life experience in the corporate world. Now, a bulk of my experience is leadership in IT. So I've had the chance to work with some awesome leaders and some not so awesome. And then some just flat out, people that should not have been in leadership. Now, I've been in this environment for over 20 years, and I really just got fed up with this horrible type of leadership. Like we discussed earlier, a lot of times people get put in positions of leadership due to friendship, due to, who as opposed to what your skill sets are. For example, if you and I are engineers and we're working at the IT firm, you and I can be great at doing our job as engineers, but that does not mean that you or I will be great at leading a group of people or leading a group of engineers in an IT firm. Leadership is a lot different than being good at your job. And so over the 20 years, I've got a chance to experience that. And I've been in various forms of leadership, from team lead to supervisor, you name it. And so I wanted to take the 20 years of experience and turn it into a private practice where I could reach out to people in positions of authority, and help them understand that just because you got elected or promoted to a position of leadership doesn't mean that you know how to lead. And you need to understand what true leadership means and how to develop yourself into a person of influence, into a person that people will want to follow and gravitate towards. You have to understand how to cast the vision. You have to understand how to galvanize your people to work together. You have to understand how to create a highly productive team that's highly productive on a consistent basis. And so a lot of times people in leadership don't really understand what it takes to be a leader. They think it's more of a ivory tower concept. You know what I mean, Coach? Like I speak or I say and you do. And it's not like that. True leadership is about servanthood. How can I best serve my team? How can I make my team better? If you recall with me, Coach Williams, back in the day when Michael Jordan was playing, he didn't really start winning championships until he incorporated the team, until he figured out how to bring the team into winning. And what he did was he found a way to make everyone around him step up and be better. What's worse, one weapon on the court or 5 weapons on the court? And so once he understood that, he knew how to play the game, Coach, but he didn't understand how to win until he learned how to incorporate his team. And that's pretty much the concept that I try to bring to my clients.
It's so interesting that you share that, because there are a lot of people who are positioned, they're put in the position and they're given it the titles. And then that's what I'm hearing you share.
Right.
They're given the titles to win, but they're not necessarily built to win.
That's
they're not
correct.
built with the skills, the soft skills, the leadership skills, the ability to have people to buy into their vision,
right,
and see how buying into their vision helps their subordinates to ultimately accomplish their vision for what it is that they want to do. I think right now, like what you're hitting on is some key things. And these problems that you're talking about in leadership have existed for years. And I'm quite, out of the number of books that have been written on leadership, wow, if we just went back over the last 50 years, the number of books that's been written on leadership, why are we still having this problem today? Why are we still these problems in leadership seem to be, have been going on for ever since the concept of leadership has been introduced. Why are we still having these problems?
I have an idea, Coach. And I think it's because people don't understand that in this life, there is a balance to everything. There's a yin to the yang. There's good and bad. Even in leadership, there's a balance. There's 2 sides. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because I wrote a book not too long ago entitled The Other Side of the Coin, Benefits to Vitality Leadership. And see, the thing is, leadership has 2 sides. There's the life-bringing side, the vitality side. And then there's the other side that we spend a lot of time on. That's the side that people like to write a lot of. It's called functional leadership. Functional leadership, and there's vitality leadership. Those are the balances. Now, the functional side is what everybody talks about. And it's what you were saying or pointing to earlier. A lot of books, a lot of documentation have been written about the functional aspect. 10 ways to be a great leader. The do's and don'ts of leadership. It's almost like it's a checklist of what you got to do to be a great leadership. And nobody looks at the other side, which is the vitality leadership. The vitality side is the life-bringing side. It's empowering and rewarding. Like I said earlier, let's be honest. We've all worked for someone who should not have been in a position of leadership. We all have. So in other words, the leadership was lackluster and they couldn't take it anymore as a follower. You know what I mean? So a vitality leader is one who understands emotional intelligence. It's what they call in the industry a soft skill. You know what I'm saying? Understanding how to relate to your team or your organization. Understanding how to communicate with them to get the best out of them. You can no longer just sit here and say, okay, this is what we got to do and we got to have it done by this time and this date. There's more to it than that. What can I do to help you have the necessary skills to be effective and successful in this team? See, it's another side to leadership that a lot of people either they don't know or they don't want to know. But without that balance, you risk the opportunity to be an awesome leader and somebody who can be hugely impactful to everyone around them. If you, I don't mean to be so cliche-ish, but if you look at MLK Jr., he was able to, when he needed to be direct, point out what it is that him and his organization is fighting for, right? But he also took the time to see people. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but he got a chance to see past the actual person and say, what is really going on? And how is it that I can use my platform to help you? Perfect example is the sanitation workers that took the strike in, I don't know if it was 63 or 65, I can't remember, down south. He took time out of his plan or his day to go down to talk to the sanitation workers to figure out what was going on and what he could do to make their situation or their lives or their careers better. And that's a part of vitality leadership that a lot of senior leadership in major corporations and organizations are missing. A lot of people that leave their jobs, they don't leave the job, they leave the leadership. And I read somewhere in a book that 85% of the people that work under someone would rather prefer to be seen. In other words, AM, if we're working on a project and I'm senior advisor and I pull you into the office and I say, AM, I've seen what you did on the project this year. I've seen how you've worked with our SQL database guy or this guy to make things happen. And I get specific about what I saw you do on the project. Now what happens? You sit up and you say, oh, he sees me. I'm not just another worker. He's seen my work. I don't have to sit here and toot my horn. He's been paying attention to me. A lot of people really would like a quote unquote pat on the back from their upper management to say, I see you. I've seen the work you did. It will not go unnoticed. I appreciate your value.
That's a big piece, because I had read too somewhere that people would prefer validation even over monetary compensation.
Exactly.
This is a real good topic, man. And like we could probably spend an hour on that alone, the entire show on it alone. But, I want to take a moment and kind of introduce this to the audience. Which one do you have seen to be the most effective? Functional leadership, vitality leadership, or see both? And what has your experience been in leadership? Make sure you go to our Facebook page and write your comments down on what you've noticed to be the most the most beneficial, the most impactful leadership that you've encountered in your work, in your business, and your things of that nature. Make sure you go to Yesco's the Yesco Radio Show page on Facebook and write down your comments. Let us know how you feel about this topic as we move forward. When we come back, we're going to talk about we're going to talk about Chad's Yesco moment. What got him into this? What got him compelled to take this step and move forward? We'll be right back.